Hello and welcome to Nikon Report, your weekly roundup of all the latest Nikon news and all other photographic announcements that we found interesting. It's Konstantin here.
And this is Becky.
All right, it's number 86.
Wow.
And there's literally no news about your favorite cameras today.
So this is going to be a 2-minute podcast. No, we're just kidding. We have other news to share with you. Let's dive right in, shall we?
Absolutely. Sometimes they're just Nikon news.
It's just generic Nikon news. So first up, exciting news. We now have stock of the new Tamron 70-300 Z mount lens. We do have limited stock, but we will be ordering more as and when these sell out. So if you are looking at getting your hands on one, do consider Grays or Westminster for your purchase.
Wow, so they have arrived. And you know, the funny thing is, it's still on back order in a lot of UK dealers, and we have it. And also in the United States, B&H and I'm listing at 5-day delivery. So for the first time, we get the delivery in the UK first and not in the United States.
We beat the USA.
That's nice. That's nice to have. Well, you win some, you lose some. We generally lose some. So
it's nice to win some.
Exactly, even the little one. So we also have more news on Voigtlander lenses as well. So we finally know the delivery dates, at least in Japan and United States. So we will get updates in the UK very soon as well. So the first one up is the D35 Macro Apo-Ultron, which is a DX lens. First of all, in UK it's going to be priced at $649. In Japan, it's about 105,000 yen, which is equivalent of $730. And the shipping will start on 4th of October.
Okay.
So do we know when they're coming in here?
We don't yet, but I imagine that we'll probably, if shipping starts on the 4th of October, we will start to see those probably within the next week or so.
So we assume they're on a ship from Japan.
I would think so.
Very nice, Becky. So what about 40mm?
So the 40mm Voigtlander or Voigtlander. The Voigtlander 40mm f1.2 Nokton lens is going to be priced at £729 or 98,000 yen, which is about $680, which is an odd switch around discrepancy on the price there. Shipping is going to start on October 26th, and we will see them shortly after. We will be putting them up for order on the website as soon as they arrive, so stay tuned for more information on that one.
Yeah, we'll definitely review them as well. In the meantime, we'll review 28mm for F-mount, so have a look at that. I think 40mm review is going to be out soon as well. So do stay tuned if you're into Voigtlander glass, and it is a really nice glass with its own character, which is different from Nikon, so do check out our videos.
That's right. Now moving on to Nikon corporate news. Nikon Japan are going to be hiring 570 new recruits. Current employees will also get a 3% to 20% salary increase and new performance-linked bonuses. This is interesting considering how tough times are at the moment. It's good to know that they're expanding and supporting their existing staff as well.
Yeah, I am available. Give me a call. I'm happy to move to Japan.
Anyway, so Nikon has decided to raise the annual salary level of its employees, and as a result, the annual income level of employees will increase by an average of about 3% compared to the current system, and a maximum of about 20% per person. In addition, in fiscal 2022, Nikon plans to hire 570 new graduates and mid-career recruits for the entire Nikon group in Japan, roughly doubling the number from the previous fiscal year.
Okay, so they're increasing the base salary of their own employee, which is nice. And then they also increase the amount of people they hire, which is also nice. Now, for people who are just starting at Nikon or will be hired this or next year, they also raise the basic salary that they start with by 20,000 yen as well.
Lovely. Oh, I think it's great.
It is nice. I mean, you know, we live in a world where everything's doom and gloom if you look at the news.
Don't look at the news. Just come to the Nikon Report.
I mean, Liz Truss, we love you so much. And your mini budget. But we won't go there.
We won't go there.
But we will. So it's good that the company is hiring. It's expanding. We will look at their finances, and we know they're sitting on a big cash sum as well. So they can expand and they can increase their reserves really more than anything else. So I personally like this news. It just shows the company is in a strong position.
That's right. Moving on to other Nikon news, Nikon's Riblet film will be used on ANA Greenjet aircraft.
What is Riblet film processing, Becky? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you what it is. So Riblet film processing is processing to form structures that emulate shark skin. Remember we talked shark skin?
Shark skin.
I remember that a couple of years ago. So basically, this is the surface that reduces the friction drag caused by regular flow of fluid or gas or any other thing. So if your plane is in the air and it's covered in that thing, it's super ultra dynamic.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do remember us talking about this. For some reason, when I read Riblet film, I was like, is this something to do with 35mm film? But no.
Is it cine steel with a ramjet?
That's right.
Or Kodak Vision? No, it is not.
It's got nothing to do with that at all. So why is that helpful or interesting?
Well, first of all, no sharks have been harmed in this process, so let's start with that.
That's good to know.
Second of all, obviously they testing. So first of all, it's going to be those on special library airjets, so just a few of them covered in that. So what they want to do is they want to then test the surfaces, get the reports, see how aerodynamic it is, see if it's actually improved things.
Right.
And if it does, maybe they will start to use those on more jets. So it's more of a kind of testing phase.
Interesting.
But it's, again, something that you don't know about Nikon, and we do. Because we just Google stuff.
Bully for us.
Exactly. In preparation for this podcast, more than anything else.
And our last bit of Nikon corporate news is that Nikon continues to buy back its own shares. What does that mean?
Well, in September, they purchased 1,575 shares, which is equivalent of 2,364,000,000 yen. Can you imagine that? Amazing. So now, in a whole period, I think since May last year, they already purchased 8,367,000 shares, which is equivalent of 12 billion, almost 13 billion yen, really. So, it's a lot of yen, I can tell you that.
Yeah, sounds it.
Shares buyback is generally a good sign, again, for shareholders because the company is confident. Well, you can see them, they're hiring more people as well.
Yes, exactly. So good things for Nikon Corporation.
Exactly. They're building the HQ there as well. So it seems like Z9 money are not going to waste.
Now for third-party news.
Chinese manufacturer Cheecar announced a 40mm 2.8 prime lens for Nikon Z mount.
Yeah, now this is interesting because this is a brand that I've not heard of before. Have they been around?
No, it's a new player on the block. But I think we just need to wait and see because there's no information on this lens yet. Some manufacturers produce lenses under different brands as well, so you never know. So it could be one of those manufacturers like, let's say, Zhuyon, which produce Metacon lenses. It could be them. We don't know, but let's just wait and see because the first lens from them for Z mount. So once the info comes in, we'll let you know. But the interesting one for me was not the lens announcement, but actually a rumor of company Techart, which Sony E-mount adapter to Nikon Z with autofocus. We reviewed a couple of months ago. So they are rumored to announce Leica M to Nikon Z autofocus adapter.
Ooh, that's very exciting.
I think it's exciting in a way that obviously Leica lenses are manual focus. Yeah. So let's say if Sony lenses had autofocus motor built into them, so it was more of a software implementation. With this one, you actually have to have a motor built in. And you reviewed something like this before from Techart. So it seems like this is going to be a version 2 of that, and it's going to be directly aimed at Nikon Z users. So it wasn't like a to Sony adapter with another Nikon attachment on top.
The one that I tested was actually a Megadap adapter. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Z to M and then M to F mount, which was how I managed to get it to work. It's slightly different, but I'm very, very interested to see how this one pans out.
Okay, well, that's something that maybe we should review in the future, so who knows?
Yes.
Since this is all the news we have for this week, Becky, I've chosen other 3 news that I found exciting, which you don't know about.
Okay.
And I'll let you choose one, and we're going to discuss that.
Okay.
All right? So first one up is Tesla AI Day, which happened last weekend, and they showed their Tesla bot, which is a Tesla robot, which was dancing on the stage.
Cute.
So that's news number 1. The news number 2 comes from the likes of No Film School website, and it's called that company acquired the rights to deepfake Bruce Willis. And it talks about that Bruce Willis sold his rights on his image to be used in the future films as a deepfake.
Wow.
That's option 2. And option 3, there's something that we discussed on a Friday live stream, and it's a Leica Q edition Dawn by Seal.
I mean, I think that one's more relevant to our topic, but I like the other topics. The Tesla robot is not really surprising to me, is it?
Well, I'm surprised they didn't call it Skynet to start with, so I think that's kind of what the future holds, really.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like it's going that way. Selling your facial image
Yes.
as an actor. I mean, it's a great way to make money if you feel like you don't want to make any more movies, right?
That's true. I mean, there's a bit of sad news. I'm sure you've heard a couple of months ago that Bruce Willis went public with his diagnosis of aphasia and his retirement from the film career. But we all love Bruce Willis movies, at least the early ones. He basically sells his face to be used as deepfake. I'm sure all of you watched those deepfakes on the internet. And actually, there was a video of the ad that was used already with his face somewhere in Russia. Let's not talk about them. And it looks pretty convincing. So imagine you've got this. I know there's an ABBA concert that's happening right now where they all look real. I don't know what it is. I've never been there, but a lot of people say
you didn't buy tickets to the ABBA concert?
No, I think I'm not an age group for that. So, but I've been to Mamma Mia with my parents-in-law.
Oh, nice.
And we all danced and clapped.
Excellent.
And got kicked out of the theatre for doing that.
He got up on stage, really got into the spirit of things. Deepfake is an interesting technology. I find it both terrifying and also incredibly intriguing because for an actor, for example, do you remember when, I don't know if you ever watched the remake of Tron and Jeff Bridges.
I did, yes.
There was a younger Jeff Bridges, CGI. And it was really well done considering that it was at a time when CGI wasn't as good as it is now.
Because he was in the original one, right?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
It's a very interesting concept. I worry, like all things, when it gets into the wrong hands, the damage that can be done with that, although I fully respect Bruce Willis's decision to do that because he can continue to be the megastar that he is, despite his physical condition.
Just imagine about something like Die Hard 15, the Pimlico edition or something like this, Could be that. I mean, I watch all Die Hards, doesn't matter how terrible they are, but it blurs the line. And obviously, the reason why I chose the three, they are kind of related to photography. I mean, if you talk about AI and Tesla bought and robots, this AI, and we see AI being implemented in cameras, etc. The big thing nowadays is machine learning. If you look at Tesla Autopilot, they use a lot of machine learning and the data from all the cars that are running around to improve it. But AI is being used on our phones for our photography nowadays, and I think that's going to happen in the future implemented in cameras. Now, deepfakes are blur the line, what's real, what's not. We have now where you go on the website and you can type in the words and AI machine is going to generate the image for you.
Yes.
The deepfakes, which are starting happening now, and they're already looking so convincing, they're just going to get even better.
Yeah.
How does it affect you as a photographer?
Well, there was a story in the art community a week or so ago where an artist had won a competition based on an image that had actually been created by AI and whether or not this was permissible, et cetera, et cetera. I think it all shows kind of technological developments, and we have to look at it as how will it benefit us as opposed to how it ruins everything or whatever. Because the normal knee-jerk reaction is like, this is a terrible idea, but actually it could benefit us in some way.
Should we be scared?
Always. Of technology? Always be scared of new technology.
All right, so then let's move on to some positive news and talk about Leica Q2 Seal Edition.
Yes.
Would you like one of those?
I would like it because it comes with a special quote, "You became a light on the dark side of me."
Yes.
It's from my favorite song. One of my favorite songs. I've got a couple, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's $5,500.
Nice.
How many would you like? It's only 500 of them, but how many would you like?
Well, I'll have the first one of those 500. That'd be fine.
Do you think Nikon should do the same thing and release a Nikon FM2 Stormzy edition?
Oh, it is. Or like an F6 KSI edition.
Yeah.
Could work. He's a bit legendary.
I mean, I could take F100 Adele edition as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Is it a viable strategy? Is it a PR exercise? What is it, Becky? I mean, Leica is famous for this, and that's the reason why some people just don't like Leica, because it became a luxury brand and it does things like this. While the actual camera are actually quite good, and if you like rangefinder photography, it's good, but be prepared to pay money for that. But paying $5.5 for Seal Edition or Milli Vanilli Edition, who knows? Would you like that?
It is an odd move corporately. Obviously, Nikon have gone down slightly different routes over the years with their special editions. So, for example, we've had commemorative years like Year of the Dog, Year of the Dragon, FM2Ns in those cases. We've also had special editions where they've made versions for specific magazines. The Lapita was made for a Japanese media magazine and company. We've had anniversary editions, and the most recent one, I think, has been the Nikon 100th anniversary editions, which were a couple of years ago for the 100th
Yeah, they did the shrubs, but they also did the D500. They did the Trinity of the lenses. And was it the D5 as well?
D5, D500, and the Trinity of lenses. And I personally prefer this route of special editions to basing it off a person. Obviously, if they did one, for example, commemorating one of the very well-known Nikon designers, for example, and made it different, I would totally back that, because I think that that's very much on the right path or line. But doing it because someone is famous, I'm not.
So not like Z30 Doja Cat edition or something. No, okay.
Wouldn't buy that.
I see.
But what's your preference?
Well,
You want a J-Lo edition or a Beyonce edition?
MC Hammer edition, the Tribe Called Quest, obviously Kanye West edition.
Oh, yes, there must be a Kanye edition.
Exactly. It's definitely, and it's definitely is going to be a grip on the opposite side.
Just to be different.
And the base is just, you're going to put the camera, it's going to jump off because it was going to be so cushiony. It's going to be FM2 Easy edition, you know. It won't take film. It will just spit out the lyrics for your future track.
Good. So you're fully on board with the celebrities.
I'm fully on board. I think, you know, let's see more Lenny Kravitz and Seal edition from Leica. I mean, they're famous for that.
Great. Let's move on to Weekend Read and Watch, shall we?
All right. And we have a Joe McNally with his tips for storytelling photography. So obviously it's an article. You can read that. Joe McNally is quite well known for his flash photography, and he had a book out early this year, so do check it out. He's also coming to London with a series of workshops in November, I believe. So if you want to attend, then definitely do check out Joe McNally's website.
He's also a fantastic writer, I will say. And then we also have DSLRs Are the New Leica by Samuel Streetlife. This is a YouTube video.
Yeah, let me explain you what he means. It doesn't mean that DSLR new Leica, but what he says is that it's a new trend. People coming back to DSLRs. Don't sell your DSLR yet to mirrorless, because it's going to come back to fashion, because fashion is cyclical.
I was just curious as to why he says Leica specifically.
For clicks.
Ah, for the old clickbait.
So what do you think, Becky? Are DSLRs a new Leica? Shall you sell your DSLRs now and upgrade to mirrorless, or should you hold on and just enjoy using what you already have?
I think if you can afford to keep your DSLR whilst also taking advantage of the new technology systems, and hear me out, not all new technology is going to make the difference to everybody. So sometimes it's good to try these things out before you take the plunge if you can.
Hold on. But internet told me that the latest, the more you spend and the more latest stuff you get, the better photography you become.
Yes. Well, that information aside, I would say, you know, for some people, they're going to go mirrorless and they're never going to look back. I never looked back. Yeah. I didn't go, oh, I really miss my DSLR. I have film SLRs for those situations where I want a sort of older feel or a different feel. But I understand that there are some people who aren't going to get along with mirrorless as much, or they're going to wish that they'd kept their DSLR. So I'd say if you can afford to do it, then do it. If you can't, then, you know, that makes the decision for you, I would think.
Do you think DSLRs are going to become like film cameras, are well cherished 20 years down the road?
Some of them are. Like, some people still cherish their D70s, and those are knocking on for 15 years.
D700 was a king of street and probably still is.
Yeah.
So you never know. But do you think in 20 years we will come back to them? Or let's say 20 years down the road, is D850 still the best DSLR of all time?
As long as you can still get parts for it, I think the D850 will be immortalized. Yes.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I absolutely agree. I mean, as we say, I don't think you can become better photographer by using the latest technology. Obviously, if you're a sports and wildlife photographer, yes, improvement in autofocus is something that you really need, and high frame rate is something that's a part of the job. But if you don't do anything like this, then, you know, some people still shoot on medium format film cameras with manual focus, or even 35mm cameras, and they are absolutely fine. If you have a DSLR and it's got a reasonable resolution, so 24 megapixel plus, you're probably still good. And then who knows, maybe later on you upgrade not to the latest generation of mirrorless, but actually one behind it. You'll save quite a lot by doing so.
Exactly that. That's all we've got for you this week.
That's a wrap. A short and sweet, but thanks for joining us. And hopefully more news comes out next week. And then you'll have a full 3-hour long version of it.
The uncut edition. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. Please give us a like and a subscribe if you're on YouTube. And what are we doing?
And if you are not, we also on a podcast platforms. So if you like to listen to us, sitting in an armchair, sipping on a beautiful Earl Grey tea with a slice of lemon, then we are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music.
Good. Thank you for that. You can also find us on the internet on Instagram, soon to be Vero.
Soon to be Granary.
Something.
Soon to be Tinder.
I'm at Rebecca_Danese.
Konstantin Kochkin, the shop is Nikon at Grace.
Occasionally we put pictures there of things that we've taken photographs of.
Absolutely. If you'd like to know what we're up to on a daily basis, then once in a while we post those stories in Reels.
We do.
That's it.
That's it.
We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.